It's in your eyes, a color fade out. Looks like a new transition is starting up and shaking your ground. Turning your head to see a new day calling. Does it feel like a head to lean on? A snapshot from where you were born. I'm looking for your hand in the rough. You're caught in the wire. Will I lift you
Wake up, the sun is coming up. Wake up, don't stop, we keep it going strong. Wake up, the sun is coming up. Up, 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 up. Everybody get up. Everybody scream it loud. Everybody sing it loud. Everybody get up. What? Wake up and get up and scream and shout. Everybody get up. The sun is coming up. Wake up, wake up. The sun is coming up. Wake up, don't stop. We keep it going strong. Wake up, wake up. The sun is coming up. Wake up, wake up. The sun is coming up. Wake up, wake up. The sun is coming up. Wake up, don't stop. We keep it going strong. Wake up, wake up. The sun is coming up. Wake up, wake up. A season's going on. Wake up, the sun is coming up. Wake up, don't stop. We keep